Hola, Internet amigos. This video will talk about the chances of war between Israel and Iran. We'll talk about COVID and being vaccinated to death way back in May 2018.
Smart cities program, Israeli high technology, manufactured in China. We're all getting shoved into the smart gulags, vaccinated until we're sterile.
We'll remember Dr. Steve Pieczenik and his claims of a military coup on good old InfoWars with January the 6th DC insider Owen Schroyer, who got off remarkably lightly compared to others.
Hillary is over, Mueller's over, the FBI is over, the CIA, certain elements are over. That's why Pompeo, who was number one at West Point, was put in. We have several military generals in charge. We have every congressional district. We have a military installation or project. So basically, we're not worried about any Democrats or congressmen. If you look at the map of the United States, we in the intelligence and military community are basically in charge, and Trump is on top of that. And I'm not upset about it, and I'll tell you why.
Kissinger's old right hand Pieczenik tells us the military is basically in charge. Well, yeah, I do agree with that. We can see as Trump never has to attend a debate, just sit in court, and his ratings go ever higher. I'd say he is a DOD shoo-in. We will see. We'll talk about the manufacturing of Hezbollah, which will go a long way to explaining why it is that right now the Hez are playing footsies with Israel and not raining down 100,000 missiles as they have promised for a decade. They are strangely quiet, aren't they? I thought the leadership were ready to die for the cause. Nah, that's the bottom-end warrior's job, the ones who don't have Swiss bank accounts. Yisrael Hassoun, a Syrian Jew born in Damascus, second in charge of the Shin Bet, that's the Israeli FBI, and top Arab recruiter for Israel, taught us that every Muslim terrorist mastermind is an asset of Likud and the City of London moneyman. They even made a film about it called Iron Man 3. Trevor!
Some people call me a terrorist.
President Ellis, you continue to resist my attempts to educate you, sir. And now you've missed me again.
You know who I am. You don't know where I am.
And you'll never see me coming.
Hey!
Bloody hell, bloody hell.
Don't move. You're not him, the Mandarin, the real guy.
Where? My name's Trevor Slattery. He created me.
Custom-made terror threat.
Yes! Yes! His think tank thinked it up.
Trust me, I heard about this years ago. I never quite believed it, but after being to Iran, Lebanon, I'm telling you, the money men rule, it's all run by Likud. Bibi practically admitted it. As we've all worked out with Hamas, the money men, the drugs, and weapons dealers are Likud through and through. Hence why Netanyahu is ensuring that they get fully funded via the pretend Muslim bankers in Qatar. We'll see if Bibi can't encourage the Hez to go hard, because Bibi wants the PR excuse to lay waste to southern Lebanon and do the final push out of Gaza into the Sinai. And then the West Bank. That will require a lot of chaos. Moving on, we'll talk about Malaysia and the Straits of Malacca and its strategic importance. We'll talk about Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize, only half joking. We'll talk about making religion a diagnosable delusional condition according to the American Psychiatric Association. And we'll do all of that from way back in May of 2018, live from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And you will see how long we or I have been saying these things I have been saying. This is worth watching 6 years on. It is all going to come out. Pluto goes into Aquarius, baby, and the pus will rise to the surface and we can apply some light as disinfectant. Please enjoy May 2018.
Hi Internet friends, it is the 11th of May 2018. This is Brendan O'Connell in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, one day post-election with the new Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Very interesting times in Malaysia, a key component in the One Belt, One Road project. I'll leave it at that. But good luck to Malaysia. It's a great country. It has its problems like everywhere else, but it's got a very pivotal role right now, particularly with its close relationship with the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia, which is very close. And it's, again, key role in the Belt and Road Initiative with China. As you can imagine, Malaysia is a major pivot point, particularly with the Straits of Malacca, which run directly through up into Singapore, Hong Kong, and up into China. So you can imagine how important Malaysia is for the future. And it's got a bright future as a very smart country, a very modern, very well run. Generally, it's got a bright future in the long run. Moving right along, let's talk about the stars have aligned for an Israeli-Iran war. Alex Jones at his best. All right, I'm going to counter this narrative very quickly and very simply. I'm going to tell you what's happening. How arrogant of me. How smug of me, people. So you're so smug. We hate you, O'Connell. Good. As my grandmother would say, I hate John McEnroe. And every night she would watch that tennis game with John McEnroe.
Answer my question! The question, jerk!
God rest my maternal grandmother, Gwyneth, a great lady. She taught me that technique. Look, here's what's going to happen. It's theatre. I call it the TTS, the two Steves. Steve Bannon and Dr. Steve Pieczenik. I seriously doubt whether Steve Bannon even left the group. I seriously do, whatever. But they're both Hollywood producers and scriptwriters. That's Dr. Steve Pieczenik and Steve Bannon. Now, if you didn't know who Dr. Steve Pieczenik was, in case you've been under a rock for a while, he basically is one of the top insider operators, psychological warfare, coordinator, you name it, for multiple administrations. He bragged recently on Alex Jones that indeed there had been a military coup, a silent coup in the United States, and Donald Trump had been installed by Army intelligence. Whether it's US or Israel, we're not quite sure. Of course, those of us in the know that it is in fact Israel. But here's a quick clip.
What are you seeing here?
Well, I'm glad you feel the storm come, but quite frankly, the storm was over a year ago when we brought in Trump. What you're seeing now is basically the aftermath of a major storm that had occurred, with no one really understanding how Trump came in and how we and the intelligence community and others had helped to bring Trump to the forefront. The storm is over. Hillary is over. Mueller's over. The FBI is over. The CIA, certain elements are over. That's why Pompeo, who was #1 at West Point, was put in. We have several military generals in charge. We have every congressional district. We have a military installation or project. So basically, we're not worried about any Democrats or congressmen. If you look at the map of the United States, we in the intelligence and military community are basically in charge, and Trump is on top of that. And I'm not upset about it, and I'll tell you why. When Alex allowed us to come on the air, we basically said it's all over for Hillary, it's all over for Obama, for Bush Jr. And what we tagged it to, and what I said was...
You'd think that would be front page news, wouldn't you? After all, Dr. Steve Pieczenik is hardly the janitor. Hardly the janitor? I'm not going to bother showing you the stars have aligned for an Israel-Iran war. Fear porn, as per usual, from the likes of an Alex Jones. I'm just going to tell you my narrative. You can choose to hate it or like it, but I guarantee you it's way more right than most who read from a script. Iran and Israel are war theatre. I did a video about this a while ago, back in March, in fact, a year ago, after coming back from Iran, where I voiced my extreme suspicions about specifically the Rouhani government. Now that government, under Rouhani and his foreign minister Zarif. Rouhani spent 6 years in London hanging with Jack Straw, who hangs with Lord Levi, who hangs with Lord Jacob Rothschild, and Zarif, who spent 20 years in the United States, are clearly cooperating with Israel at some level. Clearly. Do you seriously believe Iran could think it could move all the way to the border of Israel and start putting little bases in and start shaking their little fists with their little Hezbollah man, their little drone Hassan Nasrallah, who goose steps and Hitler salutes around the place, who brag that their youth-based system is based on the Hitler Youth. They think they can just sit on the border and threaten to rain down 100,000 missiles on Tel Aviv and go, ha, 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 you better watch out. Talking smack to, of all people, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likudnik neocons. You got to be kidding me. You're asking for a slapping. I want to know if you believe that is not a setup of setups. The Jewish state versus the Islamic state. It's a setup. And what's going to happen without going into too many details? You're going to see the build up to war, the fear porn. Oh my God, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. The usual suspects, all the online media, very serious times. Very serious times. Panic, panic, panic. In walks Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, there's going to be some missile strikes, the IRGC, because the US, of course, is in the region. So the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the Iranian proxy forces will start getting majorly slapped by US and Israeli high technology, which is unstoppable, unbeatable. It's light years ahead of anybody's. A 2-year-old who reads Jane's Defense Weekly and knows a little bit about US technology, military technology, can tell you this. All right? Russia can't invent a broomstick. It's got to be stolen. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, Russians, my lovely Slav friends, but Russia can't invent a broomstick. It's all been handed to them from day dot, and that includes China. Everything it has, it gets from the West, handed to them or stolen. I'm sorry to upset you. As the slapping continues with Netanyahu, it's child's play for him. Israel is going to threaten to rain down 100,000 missiles. The Lebanese media, here's a quick extract. It's in Arabic, but the guy is actually saying, laughing at the Iranian government for burning a little flag in the parliament. He says, why don't you blow up Israel? You keep saying you're going to blow up Israel. For 20 years we've heard this. Israel's dead. We're going to get them. They're laughing at Nasrallah. You keep hearing how popular Hassan Nasrallah and Hezbollah are in Lebanon. You're mistaken. Yes, they certainly do have some popularity. A lot of Lebanese are sick of it. That's telling Nasrallah to shut his mouth. You start talking smack and threatening the cataclysm, the existential end of the state of Israel and the, quote, Jewish people. Once you engender the Holocaust narrative of the ultimate ending of all the Jews and so on and so forth, you're done. Israel can't compete in a counterinsurgency hand-to-hand combat. No one can touch Hezbollah and Hamas in that. These people are willing to die. They're hard fighters. They're all off their heads on meth and coke. And I know people in the region. I know a lot about what goes in there, more than you think. All right, there's a lot of drug use, huge amounts of drug use, including in the Israeli military and the US military, worthy of its own documentary. Drug use in war, it's huge. But you start talking smack like that, they've mapped the tunnels, they've got little earthquake bombs, they'll just take them out, just full scar. It'll be all over. It's not going to happen. Well, yet. Trump's going to move in. Putin's going to move in as peacemakers. We've done a deal. The big men, in true Arab Middle Eastern tradition, the strong men have come to meet in the middle and form peace. Netanyahu will go into the background, just, nothing to do with me. I'm just little baby minding his own beeswax. And then a freaking Nobel Peace Prize for Trump and Putin. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. They gave one to Henry Kissinger for blasting the living crap out of Cambodia and North Vietnam. Come on. There's a Nobel Peace Prize in the works. Trump has brought peace to South Korea and he's brought peace to the Middle East. You watch. You watch. And they'll say, Fabian socialism, we're going to blow your house up, blow your house up, blow your house up. Okay, we'll just take the front porch. So that's what's happening as we speak. This is psychological warfare 101. It really is 101 stuff. This is wag the dog. And in fact, here's the speech that Trump's going to give. This is Dustin Hoffman out of Wag the Dog. Wait a minute, did I say 5 minutes? I'm such a liar. We'll go for 15. Here's Dustin Hoffman out of Wag the Dog.
Okay. Corny. This is what I need. why don't you get me 30 secretaries? You put them in an office now, okay? Would you? Would you do that? You just tell them I'm coming up. I need to see the president. I need 5 minutes of his time. The speech is corny. You know what this reminds me of? Years ago when I first went out to Hollywood, they said to me, it's too theatrical. They knew I was from the theater, so everything that was over their heads, it's too theatrical.
Not theatrical. He thinks it's too corny.
Oh, don't tell me the speech is corny. Just tell them I'm coming up. I'm coming up.
My fellow Americans, I thank a merciful God, and I am sure each and every one of us will thank that supreme power, whatever we conceive that power to be, that peace is at hand. The threat of nuclear terrorism has been quelled. You know, Mr. President, I'm just using a little more projection because I think that this speech needs just a little bit of, you know, bear with me.
Thank you so much. So good. Thank you so much.
You know, Connie, I felt very much at home in there. Do for the president.
My fellow Americans, I thank a merciful God, and I'm sure each and every one of us will thank that supreme power, whatever we conceive that power to be, that peace is at hand. The threat of nuclear terrorism has been quelled. We are in contact with the Albanian premier, who assures me, and this government credits his assurances, that his country does not wish us ill.
The old shoe.
What do you say we line up the president for the Peace Prize?
Hey, our job ends on election day.
Oh, yes, but come on.
Just for the symmetry of the thing?
That's right.
Oh, if Kissinger can win the Peace Prize, I wouldn't be surprised to wake up and find out I'd won the Preakness.
Well, yes, but our guy did bring peace.
Yeah, but there wasn't a war.
All the greater accomplishment.
Did you like that? Peace is at hand. This is a script written by the TTS, the two Steves, Steve Bannon and Steve Pieczenik. It's a script. That's a Hollywood producer, scriptwriter script. All we need is the car chase, the gun battle, the black guy dies 20 minutes in and his white cop partner then seeks revenge for good race relations or whatever in a Hollywood propaganda piece. You know the script. You know when the love scene happens and the car chase happens and the gunfight happens and they all live happily ever after. What can I tell you? So that's roughly what's going to happen. It's that predictable. All you doomsayers, doom and gloom, war, war, war. Listen, Bible prophecy, assuming you believe it, has a long way to go. There needs to be a time of long-term peace and prosperity where people start laughing at Christians, Jews and Muslims, including the Orthodox Jews. I've always laughed and said I'll be hiding in an attic with an Orthodox Jew, ironically. We'll all be on the run because they're going to come after religion and say, look at the problems you've caused. You've brought us to the brink of war, you religious people. You've caused a lot of problems. They've already got on the diagnostic statistical manual mark 57 or whatever they're up to. They've already got there about religious delusions, that religion is a delusion, an irrational delusion. That's what's coming. And it's going to be nice. The law of the land coming up, and the structure will of course be smart cities programs, smart gulags, high technology, Internet of Things, all run by Israel. The mullahs, not that the mullahs really control Iran anyway, Swiss bankers control Iran, Swiss and German banks, which is something your alt media personalities have no clue about and don't understand. And I've never seen an analysis on how close Swiss and German banks are with Iran. They are funneling the billions of cash. It costs $5 billion a year to run that insurgency into the Middle East and up to Israel's borders. That's liquid cash provided by the same people who are funding Sunni militias and also funding the so-called Israeli military intelligence, ISIS. Same people, they're funding the Shia militias. It's the same people. Drug money laundering, weapons sales, Sheldon Adelson's casinos, Donald Trump. It's the same Iran-Contra crew operating. Iran, US, Middle East, Saudis, and Israel. They're all operating there. All right, it's the same scam. And I can only make these predictions and we'll see who comes out trumps. Not that it's a peeing competition, but I am going after these alt media gurus who are lying to you. And they're simply parroting the same talking points mainstream media get are the same talking points the alt media gets. They may be the opposite of the mainstream at times, but they're still just as manufactured by the multi-billion-dollar, 30,000 direct employee Israeli, US, Iran, Russian military intelligence, psychological warfare operations. They're all cooperating at the top. Again, drugs trafficking, drug money laundering, weapons trade. It's a private Rothschild intelligence network. It's private, informal relationships running through phone calls, a little email, a little meeting in Brussels, a little meeting in Zurich or Bern, a little meeting in Kuala Lumpur, a little meeting in Moscow, a little meeting in Washington. Just few people, key players, friends of Henry Kissinger. It's the informal private intelligence networks. And Dr. Steve Pieczenik, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, and many, 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 many others, even though they say they're hardcore anti-Zionists, all right, they're full of crap. Iran is deep in bed on this. I'm talking the top levels, Rouhani, Iranian Revolutionary Guard. They've got Swiss bank accounts. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard generals are millionaires. They're millionaires. They've got all shares in the arms factories. Where do you think the money goes? Into their little accounts. Stop taking sides. You've entered into the Hegelian dialectic when you take a side. Try to remain as objective as you can. I did this video in March. I'm going to repost it. I'm going to repost it again. You kept saying the war in Syria is over. A year ago I said it ain't over. Be very careful about saying it's over. But you keep saying it's over. It's not over. It's meant to go on forever. Low intensity warfare forever. But soon the Nobel Prize for Putin and Trump, and I wait for the New York Times front page. Did we get Trump wrong the first 2 years? And they're going to start making Donald Trump into the hero. This is an archetypal script written by Steve Bannon and Dr. Steve Pieczenik, lobbied for in Aspen, Colorado and Denver, Colorado, with Sheldon Adelson and his crew, Gil Deezer, the Israeli military intelligence operators in business, Peter Thiel, Robert Mercer of Cambridge Analytica, now defunct, now it's got a new name. These same people are playing with your heads. They're running Hillary and they run Trump. That's why they got rid of Bernie Sanders, because he would have beaten Trump. And then you say, oh, you're dissing Trump. You must love Hillary Clinton. You don't want Hillary Clinton in, do you? Booga, booga, booga. That's right. That's the way the game is played. Smart cities program, Israeli high technology, manufactured in China. We're all getting shoved into the smart gulags, vaccinated until we're sterile, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a free 25 megabillion gazillabit internet connection on an incredible time travel smartphone. And it'll all be free. And you'll get a wage and the robots take over, and AI. We've got 10 years before the drones and the robots come. There are no more high technology warplanes being built by anyone for humans. It's all drones. So we've got 10 years. So you dumbasses in the alt media that keep perpetuating this garbage over and over again, right? That Iran and Putin are working against, it's all a lie. They are working together. It's theater. At the very top, it's theater via the informal Rothschild private intelligence network. It's the grand chessboard. The great game. This is what is going on. They are working together. Thanks very much. Ciao for now. Hoda Hafez, Hoda Hafez, Jumpalagi, Jumpananti, as they would say here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Good luck to the Malaysian people. Good luck to Dr. Mahathir Mohamad and the new government, and I hope things settle down and the Malaysian people realize the pivotal role they have in this anti-Zionist, anti-Israel movement that has to happen. And may there be peace in the Middle East for as long as we can, Bible prophecy or not, peace in the Middle East for as long as we can. And, you know, whatever it takes, as long as we don't sell out our basic core values. Ordinary people want to live in peace. Ordinary Israelis, ordinary Palestinians, ordinary Iranians, beautiful people, ordinary Saudis, ordinary Syrians who've suffered enough, and Iraqis who've definitely suffered enough. And remember the war that's brewing in Africa, where lots of stuff's going on, and Israel is moving around there with China and others, making itself known. So in closing, Donald Trump, Putin, Nobel Prize, make Israel great again, of course, and we'll see Israel soon curing cancer, cuddling kittens, Israel saves the world, free energy devices, you name it. And Donald Trump push forward as the hero in this archetypal unfolding, this archetypal Joseph Campbell mythology-based script that's being written before us. That's the way the big boys operate. It's a script. They're working together. They may fight like a bunch of spoiled actors on a movie set, but it's a script. Sometimes the actors are unstable assets and they go off for their own way and they destroy the production. But things soon get brought into line. It's dynamic. It's moving fast. Let's stop the fear porn and understand we're getting played in the Hegelian dialectic. I will be with Mike Herzog, formerly of RBN, who's left. I was meant to talk to him this morning. Unfortunately, there was a blackout we're having a bit of trouble getting this interview done, but I'm very excited about this interview. Mike is really smart, very funny. We get on very well, and I'm going to be on my best behavior. Hora fest. Oh, didn't I say this before? Hora fest. Ciao for now. Jumpa lagi, jumpa nanti. I should really script this, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm sure you'll get over it.